First of all, it was started off that we're speaking for the DA's office. We're not. We're candidates for that position. We're speaking for ourselves right now. I have been a deputy district attorney for 43 years. I have worked my way up through the ranks. I've tried a lot of big cases, and I've been an administrator. And I've had the experience, more experience than any other candidate running. And I think that finally it came down to, I was at a seminar and a couple of retired DAs walked up and said, "John, why aren't you running?" And I thought, well, I've done everything else. Now's the time to do this. How have I managed to stay out of the headline? I haven't. They're there. I tried the Audie Murphy case years ago, the second Audie Murphy case, most decorated war hero, Second World War. I tried the trash bag murder case. And then another major 5-count murder case out of Inglewood in LA. These were back in the late 70s, early 80s. But so I have been in the newspaper, but most DAs try to stay out of the news if we can help it. Thank you. I think I answered your question.
Keep talking.
Are there any questions you want to ask me about what's going on? Sir?
Yes, if you were elected, what will you do to take the hand of the prison industrial complex out of my pocket?
If I'm elected, I'm going to enforce the laws that your legislators enact. That's all the DA does. That's his job. I'm not out there legislating for anything. I'm out there to enforce the rules and the laws that have been enacted by you people and your representatives. The way you did it. Now, remember, I've been doing it for 43 years. That means when I started, possession of marijuana was a felony. I sent someone to state prison for possession of marijuana. It's now an infraction. I think it should be legalized. But as long as these rules are on the books, the DA's job is to enforce them and to prosecute them. And that means to supervise trial lawyers that are good enough to go up against the best private lawyers in the world. Steve?
John, in enforcing the laws as a deputy DA of far less years than you, only 25 at this point, does the DA have discretion, for example, a young person in possession of marijuana, or even some other petty theft? Do you have discretion in how you enforce, meaning you have to give maximum time, 6 months in jail, or can you do alternate sentencing, like get a job for a whole year, do 30 days of community service, stay out of trouble, and we'll dismiss your case, you'll have no record? Does the DA have that ability to do what's right and get someone back to work and give them a break rather than a condition on the record for life?
Thank you. He looks like a straight man for me. He's not. Okay? That is part of the problem with the DA's office right now. The DA does have that discretion. Is he delegating it to his deputy district attorneys right now? No. Right now, I'm the acting DIC in Downey. My boss is on vacation. Besides filing, I have people coming in and they're asking me these questions about, can I do this on this case? And I'm looking at them saying, why do you want to do it? You have good justification for it? Is it within your discretion? Why are you in my office? Well, we've been told we have to check. There's been a failure to delegate that discretion Steve was talking about, and that should be done. When I started as a grade 1, I was running a calendar in Superior Court by the end of the year. And I had the authority to waive jury, try the case to my judge, to submit a matter on the transcript of the preliminary hearing rather than call live witnesses. Well, I sat in a meeting where grade 5 told me, from now on you must have written approval from the head deputy to waive jury and try it to the court, or to submit it on the transcript. Now that's ridiculous.
Hi, my name is Star Moffitt. My question that I have for you is, what's your position
on AB 109.
which is,
That is the alignment of the prison system. Realignment, AB 109.
well, I'm filing it every day. It's very complicated, it's hard, and we miss them at times, but we're trying. It's the law, and we are enforcing it. How will it play out? We don't know yet.
And then my next question that I have for you is, what's your position on having an independent third-party entity conducting investigations rather than having the LA County, like BACA's office, investigate when an individual has been shot? In my community, in Lancaster and Palmdale, we've had shootings where individual has been shot 11 times, another individual shot 9 times, another individual shot on his, fleeing from the sheriff's on his bicycle, a Hispanic. And what is happening is, it seems to me that rather than having the sheriffs investigate themselves, my question to you is, what would you think about having an independent agency, such as a federal agency, maybe the FBI, investigate some of those cases?
Well, they do to a certain extent when it's brought to their attention in the correct manner. Like right now, I believe the federal authorities are looking at BACA and the overcrowding in the county jail. As for the individual crimes, I have not really thought about that issue. You know, I'm the one that when somebody walks in the door says, where are the police reports? Where are the investigation? And if they're not done very well, I send them back for further investigation, say, hey, you have to look at this. You have to do that before you bring that case to the DA's office. So I have not really even thought about that.
I'd like for you to think about that.
I will,
Thank you.
but I'm not going to make up my mind right now.
Of course.
Any other questions?
Can I ask another?
Yes. I wanted to introduce you guys, because I didn't want to do it this way, but this meeting seemed to be having a movement of its own. Steve Epson here happens to be a homie here, which I was really surprised to find that out. And he was going to run for this office. And for whatever reason, he decided not to. But you have some more questions, and I guess you could really ask him some, or hammer some questions to him. Here you go.
Actually, before you asked it, when I was thinking about running, I talked to Steve about it, and that was one of the reasons I'm in the race.
Yeah, I was anyway, Steve Epson, thank you for the introduction. I was a candidate when John decided to run, and he called and said, Steve, I want to let you know you're running. I was very happy that he was in the race. I thought the extra voice was good. And I asked John, I'm going to ask you what you meant by it, but I asked you why he was running, and I told the board, the ADDA, our union board, they said, well, why is John running? I said, because he said he's tired of the way deputy DAs are being treated in this office. And with someone, with your experience, what did you mean by that? And under this district attorney is a Republican for, we've had it for 10 years now. What do you mean by you're tired of the way he's been treating DAs?
Well, I don't look at it as being a Republican or a Democratic breakdown. Don't stone me. I'm a Republican. I know it's a cuss word here, but I am. But it has nothing to do with the way I treat people and the way I think people should be treated. And that's with respect and dignity, and to take a young deputy, hone with experience, his judgment, his legal judgment, so that it's worthwhile to have that person making a decision for you. You can't run a big office second guessing. And that means on big cases. I tried big cases. Audie Murphy, okay? Joe Bush walked down the hall and said, John, if you convict Audie Murphy, you've done something the whole German army could not do. I didn't hear from the boss until the case was over. I wrote him a memo. Joe Bush from John Breault, great. Audie Leon Murphy, I'm no better than the whole German army because I lost. Okay? On the trash bag murderer, 21 counts, first-degree murder. He cut up people, put them in bags, dumped them all over 6 counties. I was asked if I wanted to try the case, gave a day to think about it. I accepted. I didn't hear from anybody in the administration until after the press conference when the case was over. That's different than what you've seen on TV, where the DAs, there's 10 of them sitting in a courtroom, and after the court's over, they all run up to the DA's office and discuss what happened that day and what they're going to do the next day. I never had, when I was trying the case, a superior tell me how to put on my evidence in the courtroom. I've seen it done through some very good lawyers. Thank God Ann Ingalls didn't do what they said when she tried the Cosby case. And she won because of that.
I'm wondering, under Steve Cooley, the environmental crimes department was dismantled. What do you think about that, and would you reconstitute?
I don't know enough about the monetary makeup of the office right now. I would have to look at that, but I thought that was a mistake when that was disbanded. But again, it has to do with funding.
I don't think it did.
Well, he may not have done it, but whether it can be reinstated or not, the issue will be funding. Because I think it is a necessary thing. I just got back from Cuenca, Ecuador, and they have two issues going on down there. One, mining, Canadian mining coming in to mine for gold, that the locals don't want and the president does. And the other one is pollution control down there. There is none. And you've heard of Mexico City, well, the same thing in Ecuador. It's that bad. So, yeah, I think that needs to be taken care of. But again, it depends on the funding. Sir?
Hi. Yes, what's your philosophy on dealing with youthful offenders? Do you believe that there's been recent trends to treat youthful offenders more harshly than in the past? Are you for that or against that, or what's your opinion on that?
Well, with the new budget cut in the Superior Court, a major juvenile program is being cut out. When I started, when I was young, a person got into juvenile court, you did something wrong, and by the time you came out, they pretty well had educated you or convinced you where you wanted to spend the rest of your life, and it wasn't in state prison. Now, we seem to be spending more money with a lot less results. We don't seem to be doing the educating of the individuals at an early enough level to make a difference. Do I think they should be harder? It depends what crime they committed. Again, you know how youthful they are. You have 6 and 7-year-old kids now committing murder. What do you do with those?
Well, you can't lock a 6-year-old up for life, and just, I hear, some of these instances where.
You'll be happy to know the law doesn't allow us to do that, so.
Well, I mean, I've
Okay.
heard of cases where fairly young ages, kids get locked up, like 14-year-old will get locked up for life. And I don't believe that's always right.
Well, the law doesn't allow that either yet, so, okay? You're safe on that one. I think we have another DA that needs to be heard from if there aren't any other questions. Okay? Oh. Yes.
I don't know if you can answer this question, but when I saw this story, it really troubled me. There was a 7-year-old girl in class, and she did disrupt the class, and they called the police. Oh, that my mouth is big. And they called the police on her, and they handcuffed that child and took her to jail. As a district attorney, how do you feel about that kind of handling of a minor child who obviously only had some sort of mental disturbance, and the nurse should have been called? I think it's inappropriate. I mean, I don't understand it. I'm very confused as to how that was handled.
Well, thank you, first of all, for making me the DA, but I haven't been elected yet. Okay? You said
Okay.
as DA, how do I
All
feel
right.
now?
If
But
you were DA,
Yeah.
how would?
Yes. No, how do I feel about that as a person?
Yeah.
I'm offended by
How do
it
you
too.
feel like that as a-
I'm offended by it also, but you also have to realize that our society's changed now. When I was in grammar school and I did something wrong, there were 2 punishments. One the teacher did, and he had a paddle about that long, and you bent over in front of the class, and he applied it. Or if he really was being mean, he'd just tell my father before my father got through town on the way home from work, and I got even a worse spanking when I got home. But you even think about doing that now, and the kid says, if you do that, I'm going to call the police on you and have you arrested for child abuse. Now, what is the teacher going to do in that situation? Now, their hands are tied. If they raise their hand against either one of the 2 children, they get arrested. So you put you've got that Hobson's choice. You're standing between the 2 bales of hay. You're starving to death, and you're a mule. Which one do you bite? Which way do you want to go? What's the solution for the teacher?
The teacher should have called the nurse, and the nurse should have called the paramedics. The police officers should not be handling a 7-year-old young girl
And as soon
at all,
as
period.
they call the paramedics, they're going to call the police and have them respond with them. So we're back in the same
But she's going
boat.
to get medical attention from the paramedics. They're going to sedate her, they're going to take her and they're going to test her, and they're going to give her the kind of help she needs. She gets absolutely no help by further traumatizing the child with the police officers. That to me is really inappropriate way for us to be handling our young children.
I agree. But then you have to look at the options and what's available to the person at the time. And don't forget that teacher in that classroom full of children too. No, would I want my child treated that way? Absolutely not. Do I have a good option for you right now? No. As I indicated before on the other issue, I don't have one. That hit the newspaper yesterday or today, and that was it. And I have not really had time to look into it to be able to know what all the facts are. Danette, I think you're up.
Oh, Mike?